Y ya van días y varias semanas.
He hasn't given no response, and it's been days and it's been weeks, and he hasn't said anything. Y espero logren su objetivo de la justicia a su país. Luchen por su país. Say the best, basically fight for your country. Están bloqueando el acceso. ¡Viva! Porque la Policía Federal o la autoridad nos está deteniendo el acceso y nos está deteniendo el paso para poder cruzar hacia el Zócalo, señores.
How's everybody doing? Good morning to everybody. 11:11. Make a wish. Make a wish. Peace on earth and stop child trafficking, please. 11:11 in the morning over here in Tijuana, Mexico. Today it is May 11th in 11:11. Weird. Today in Tijuana, Mexico, May 11th, for everybody that is watching, partly cloudy over here in our country, in our city, Tijuana. How's everybody doing? God bless our country of Mexico, our city of Tijuana, and God bless the United States of America. Let's thank God for giving us 2 legs, 2 arms, a mind that we can think, a heart that we can feel, and eyes that we can see. God bless every single one of you. Thank you so much for joining. Before we start, buy me a coffee. It is pinned on the bottom or at the top on both of our platforms. It is Facebook and YouTube. We are live on both of the platforms. If you guys want to contribute to my work, buy me a coffee. It is pinned right there in Facebook and also in YouTube. Thank you so much. What is going on in France? This is what is going on in France, and there's a couple articles that I want to show you guys right here. As French soldiers accuse the government of trying to silence the warnings of a possible civil war. This is according to The Guardian right here. As you know, there's a lot of conflicts with the Islam religion in France with Emmanuel Macron. And a lot of the celebrations from the Islamic community have been as Islamophobia categorized. And ultimately, in France, they are complaining that this is eventually growing, and there are mosques being built in France, as France is predominantly now, the majority is, the religion of Islam. It is Muslim. So this has caused a lot of problems into the country of France, which I believe on freedom of religion and freedom of speech and freedom of belief. So, it is what it is. But this is the actual situation in France. It is a delicate situation for everybody that is watching it. It's a really delicate situation. As this article that it was released by The Guardian, it says French soldiers accuse the government of trying to silence warnings on civil war. And it says serving members of French military have fired a second salvo at Emmanuel Macron's government in an open letter accusing of cowardice, deceit, and perversion, just weeks after the first letter said to the country was heading for civil war. Look at that. The letter signatures refer to the 7 verse of La Marseillaise, that is the French national anthem that refers to avenging slain elders or following them to their coffins. It was published in support of the first letter, published on the 21st of April, 60th anniversary of the filed up cup. This is one of the reasons why France right now is having a lot of problems, and it is heading potentially to civil war. Now, this is another article that is talking about Emmanuel Macron, that is the president of France. And right here, this article was released by Politico. That says Macron's latest headache, soldiers warning of civil war. This is not your typical average people. These are soldiers from France that they are saying we are going to a civil war. France is going through a situation right now. It is, my God, everywhere. Holy cow! What is the world, man? What is the world turning into? I sometimes I forget about Oscar, blue broadcaster and reporter. Sometimes I'm just sitting down and watching this kind of stuff, and I'm like, what the hell? Where are we living, man? What the hell is going on with the world? What is going on, man? Whatever happened to peace? Peace. Just peace. Whatever happened to that? But, as a lot of people believe, the end of times are coming. A lot of people believe that. A lot of people believe that Jesus is coming. A lot of people believe that the Savior is coming. We actually don't know. But this is the actual, let's go back to the news. Macron's latest headache. Soldiers warning of a civil war. Ministers are on the back of the foot after the publication of a second letter by active soldiers on the risk of a civil war in France. Look at this. This is crazy. And it says right here, this article released by Politico, it says that it's a waste of time. The letter is a waste of time. It offers solution. Economy Minister Bruno Le Maire told France Info Monday, accusing the soldiers of using far-right rhetoric. There is no laissez faire in France. Yes, there is a political Islamism that is trying to break up the country, and we are fighting in it. This is because the Islam religion, it is growing a lot in France, and the political, the rhetoric, supposedly the real slang to the right, are fighting against this kind of situation. So they're saying that it's going to be a potential war. Now, looming, it says right here on the bottom, it says civil war in question mark. An earlier letter signed in April by a group of retired generals and soldiers warned against hoardies from the Banlieue French suburbs and laxist government policies on Islamism. The second letter is reportedly from a group of active soldiers who have been deployed to Mali, Afghanistan, and Central African Republic. They have patrolled the streets of France as a part of a Sentinel operation following terror attacks in the recent years. And it says right here in the article, this is a professional assessment we are giving. The soldiers right. We have seen this decline in many countries in crisis. It proceeds to a collapse, chaos, and violence, and contrary to what others, in quote unquote, say chaos and violence will not come from a military rebellion, but from a civil insurrection. General Jerome Pellistrandi, chief editor of the magazine Revenu Defense Nationale, said the soldiers were right about rising violence in France, but were wrong to speak out. Everyone agrees that society is breaking up. It's a known fact, he said. But it's up to the military to judge what is happening, or instead should be trying to encourage social harmony. And then he adds, unquote, we must not deny the threat of urban violence. the terrible reality that that fellow police officers face, the attacks against police stations and the murders of police officers. But it does bother me that they talk about civil war. This is about a letter that it was written by retired generals and retired army soldiers in France. It is unbelievable. So this letter, practically what it's saying is that the retired military, they are talking about civil war, and they wrote this letter to Emmanuel Macron, not just your typical average guy. They wrote it to the president. So they're practically saying, that they're coming, that they're preparing. Now, this is another article that is important for you guys to understand right here. This is another article. It says France to punish ex-generals for Islamic civil war letter. This is amazing because France, the government of France, is going to punish the ex-generals that they wrote this letter about civil war against the Islamic religion as they are growing in France. It's just unbelievable. So this article about We Observer, France to punish ex-generals for Islamic civil war letter. And it says right here, France is preparing, the government of France is preparing to punish their ex-generals and acting officers who signed a letter warning of a civil war with Islamists. These are unacceptable actions. There will be consequences, naturally, the French Defense Minister, Florence Parly, said on the France Info Radio on Monday, on the 26th of April. Says the military are not there to campaign, but to defend France and to protect the French. For those who have violated the duty of reserve, sanctions are planned. And if there's an active soldiers among the signatories, I asked the chief of staff of the armed forces to apply rules, Parly said. According to French law, retired officers could lose their ranks and pensions if they violated their duties. Acting ones could face court-martial and between 2 to 5 years in prison. Holy cow. The letter was signed by 24 retired generals. This is not a typical letter, people. This is a letter of 24 retired generals from France that they are practically saying we are going to be at a civil war against Islam in France. It's just unbelievable. And the article goes on and says this. The letter was signed by 24 generals as well as 80 colonels or captains, 125 lieutenant colonels or lower rank officers, and about 1,000 others. It was published in the right-wing magazine Balerou Actuali on 21st of April, the 60th anniversary of a failed putsch over Algerian independence. The hour is grave. France is in peril, they said. And the intervention of our comrades on active duty is a perilous mission of protection of our civilizational values might soon be needed in a civil war that could cost thousands of lives, they said. The letter targeted Islamism at the hordes of the Banlieue, poor neighborhoods with large migrant populations as the enemies of France. It's also seized on recent jihadist attacks in the country, such as the murder of schoolteacher Samuel Paty for showing Mohammed cartoons last year to whip up the emotion. Who could have imagined, they say, 10 years ago, that a teacher will one day be beheaded on leaving school, they wrote. The lead signatory was Christian Piquemal, a former French Foreign Legion commander who was arrested in 2016 for taking a part of an anti-migrant rally in Calais. Other French ministries and left-wing politicians also condemned the letter and partly reassured that the French public that the old man in their slippers who signed imposed not a threat because the immense majority of serving French officers had not joined them. So this is a really serious letter for everybody that is watching. This is a really serious letter that retired generals wrote, retired colonels wrote, retired retired soldiers wrote. And all of these people are against the attacks of terror that have been occurring in France. Ultimately, they are targeting the Islam religion and Islamist followers. So this is condemned by the French government and ultimately also by, the Emmanuel Macron, the president. Wow. It's just unbelievable how, how it is just how they there's a comment right here. It says, Oscar, I'm French. It's not the real problem. They used to attack Muslims before elections. The same song sings years here. We are used to live. Last year, our Minister of Justice let 1,000 prisoners free because of COVID. There's a PB here, but not everybody is extremist. False flag. I understand. Yes, I completely agree with you. And I'm putting your comment right here on the. I cannot put your comment. I'm sorry, brother. I cannot put your comment because it just blasts my whole screen. So I need to remove your comment right here. Let me just remove your comment. But I will read your comment, all of it. You're saying not all of them are extremists. Yes, I understand. Not, and I know along my my life, Muslim people, that they're not extremists. They're Sunni Muslim. They're Shia Muslim. That there are a lot of them. The majority are from the past, from Iran and all this kind of stuff. But not everybody's extremist. I understand that. But the problem right here is that there has been terrorist attacks in France. And that is a reality, and we cannot hide about it. It is a reality. It's like saying the cartel in Mexico, it exists, but, they're not that violent. We know that they're violent. They're beheading people. They're taking advantage of populations and, in small rural areas. But we cannot decrease we cannot not say that it's not a problem. We cannot say that it's not a problem. There is a problem, and it is being exacerbated right now. And, the problem right here, it is that when you have ex-generals writing a letter to France, to the French government, it is something serious. It is something serious. You don't have your typical average Joe writing a letter and sending it to the president, and the president, oh, this is Martin. Martin is writing a letter to the president. And they, that's just a normal letter. These are ex-generals that they're signing a letter and, putting a threat of possible civil war. It is serious. What they wrote, it is really serious. Yes, it is. You cannot do that. Yes, you cannot do that because you're not putting also the threat of a civil war, but you also put in the threat of, the population of France. You're threatening the people of France. I know you are defending against the terrorists, that they are extremists, but you cannot say that because where is the government of France? How is the government of France going to look? The populations of France, where are they going to be? Are they going to be safe now that there is this threat about a civil war? It is to speak about a civil war. It is not just, speaking about it. and just talking about, oh, yes, this is just a civil war. We're just going to go to civil war. No, it is the whole population. So you cannot be speaking like this. And unfortunately, now the French government is going to punish ex-generals for their Islamist civil war letter. It's just unbelievable. Also, in another topics, world topics, that is occurring right now, and it is what is happening in Israel, and also what is happening in Israel with Gaza. And it started with Hamas, bombing Jerusalem. It started like that, but now it is getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And it all has to do with Palestine and all this, all this war that has been going on for the longest of times. But this is an article released by CBS, and it says right here, Gaza, right here on the top, it says, Gaza to ramp up deadly airstrikes on Israel, to ramp up deadly airstrikes on Gaza as rockets rain down and death mounts on both sides. It says Israel armed forces and Palestinian militants exchange rocket fire on Tuesday as days of fighting centered around one of the holiest cities in the world for Muslims, Jews, and Christians, snowballed into another deadly flare-up in decades-long conflict. The bloodshed was likely to get worse, as both sides indicated that they would escalate their attacks. It is just unbelievable. Look at this. It's just incredible. Look at this, man. I want to ask something. A lot of people, wow, man, look at this. Holy cow. Whew. I want to ask something, man, because we are continuously seeing, look at these images right here on this video. We're continuously seeing that the philanthropist, George Soros, is helping the poor. The United Nations, the philanthropist, right? The philanthropist of the United Nations is helping, the world. George Soros is the number one philanthropist that is helping the poor. The United Nations is the one that brings peace to the world. Right? The United Nations is the one that has the agreements with the world and to bring peace. The Pope and the Catholic Church, they're the ones that they have, the power to bring peace. As this article right here, it says, according to Al Jazeera, it says Palestinians say 21 killed as Israeli air raids on Gaza and continue. UN Security Council held an urgent meeting on the unrest in Jerusalem as world leaders called for the de-escalation of tensions. And then the article goes on, it says at least 21 Palestinians have been killed in Israel in air raids on the besieged Gaza Strip, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry, after Hamas launched rockets from the coastal territory towards Israel. The Gaza Health Ministry told Al Jazeera on Monday that 21 people, including children, had been killed in the attacks. The attacks were carried out after Hamas fired several rockets at Israel following the expiration of the group's ultimatum demanding Israel stand down forces from Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in Jerusalem. That is the most holiest place. Al-Aqsa. That is the most holiest place for Muslims. This is, I will leave the images right there for you guys to have a opinion. And these conflicts are going on for decades now. Let me see what, as Hamas has put a threat also to the United States of America, also with Iran, also with Iraq. The last year, Iran and Iraq put a threat to the United States of America, saying that they were going to get their revenge for the assassination of Qasem Soleimani. And, this is a mess right here. And if it is a reality that the United Nations is going right now to go in there and try to negotiate, good luck with that. It has a lot of it has a lot of things that they have to resolve. But most importantly, it is the situation that is, according to right here, according to The Guardian also, it says Israel launches airstrikes on Gaza Strip after Hamas rockets attacks. This is the video. Wow. 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 Horrible, man. Whoa. Wow. If you guys want to, I always, I always follow these outlets. That is The Guardian, and also Routers. They're good outlets. These are extremely good outlets. Congratulations to The Guardian as always. Israel launches airstrikes on Gaza Strip after Hamas rockets attack, says The Guardian. As tensions between Israel and the Palestinians escalated dramatically on Monday, and militant groups of Gaza fired rockets into Israel, and Israel responded with airstrikes on the Palestinian coastal territory following a police raid on the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem that left hundreds injured. The rocket attacks were launched just as minutes after the passing of Hamas issued an ultimatum for Israel to withdraw security forces both the Jerusalem compound that is home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque at the old city of Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Horrific what is going on over there. Let's see if the philanthropist, George Soros, does something about it. Philanthropist, right? Holy cow. In another news, people, this is something that it was inevitable and that it was going to happen as the, rumors start getting more stronger every day, that possibly, Donald Trump will run again for president in 2024 with vice president, and supposedly the vice president is going to be DeSantis, that is the governor of Florida. Of course, now that the rumor is getting strongly, and now that it is almost a reality, the left cannot handle themselves. They cannot let go. So the White House chief of staff says he wouldn't want to estimate or underestimate Trump if he decides to run in 2024. This is Ron Klain that he says that while President Joe Biden will likely seek the re-election in 2024, the Biden administration is anticipating a bruising general election matchup if former President Donald Trump decides to run again. I wouldn't want to estimate or underestimate Donald Trump as an opponent if he chooses to run, Klain told Mike Allen in an interview on H's on HBO, slated on air on Sunday 18. My experience, Mike, is that incumbent presidents are judged on their record. President Trump had a bad record in 2020. He quotes, this is Ron Klain quoting, President Trump had a bad record in 2020. Joe Biden is hopefully assembling a powerful record to run on if he runs for re-election on 2024, Klain also said. And also he added, quoted, that's my expectation. He said before adding, I'm a great respecter of fate. I've never been able to plan 4.5, 3.5 years ahead of certain. Trump has yet to acknowledge the results of the 2020 election as legitimate, but told the Daily Wire last week that people are going to be very, very happy when I make a certain announcement. Oh my God, I love that man. Oh my God. People are going to be very, very happy. You're fired. So DeSantis supposedly is going to run as vice president. That is the speculation. You know, it is a big speculation. Huge. And this, it is, if he comes back, well, my God, we cannot talk about it. I'm not going to say anything about it right now. But it is already filtering the brains of the left. And he has never left their thought. As you know, you have, these tabloid writers that they are writing books that hate monger, to profit out of Trump. And now that he's gone, this tabloid writers try to profit out of other people that they were following Trump. So the left doesn't want to let go of Trump. It is so important for them. You got enough problems to this man right here. That is the chief of staff of the White House, Mr. Ron Klain. You have enough problems in your country to be worried about who is going to run against Joe Biden. You got a lot of problems, buddy. You got a border security issue, first and foremost. You got an economy to boost that you're talking about, thousands and thousands of jobs. Oh, my God. You got an economy to boost. You had a pandemic that you are fixing it by vaccinating the whole population. That I'm not against, it's freedom of decision. Freedom of decision. If you want to take the vaccine, go ahead. If you don't want to take it, that's you. I'm not saying don't take it. I'm not saying take it. It's your decision, right? So these kind of people, they are so focused on this man. Donald Trump caused so much damage to their minds and to their narrative that they cannot let him go. They cannot let him go, and they cannot let him stay. So it's in the middle. It's just so much stigmatism and all that kind of stuff. But really amazingly, if somebody's saying Mike Pence is going to run also, that, Judas, what do you want Judas to run? If Republicans support Judas, that is Mike Pence and all the people that betrayed the president at that particular time, go ahead, support Judas. But, I don't believe so. A lot of people knew what his narrative was also. So now that there's a potential idea of Donald Trump running with DeSantis, these people are like, oh my God, he's meeting up with DeSantis in Florida. What are they doing? Go over there and investigate. You have a lot of problems in your country, Ron Klain. 18,000 unaccompanied minors arrived to your border. 170,000 in the month of March. You say that you have controlled the borders, but you don't have none of the idea if you have a border control or not, buddy. You have a lot of cartel activity on the other side of the town that is called Mexico, that is your neighbor. All the borders are controlled by the organized crime, and you're saying that you got control of the borders. Good luck with that. You have an enormous division of crime in your country created by leftist organizations and leftist groups, radical leftist protest groups like Black Lives Matter and Antifa, which you have been, and everybody in this administration has been a coward to go in there and held accountable these terrorist organizations, that which they are. They are destroying the country. They're looting and destroying the country of your country. Antifa, it is completely destroying every state that they go and protest. And you have so many problems that you have the time of the day to dedicate and to talk to CNN Politics and says, and you say, well, I wouldn't want to estimate or underestimate Trump if he decides to run in 2024. We got that DeSantis, guys. I wouldn't want to. And also, in my experience, I will say if he runs, what the hell? Where is your priority right now? Where is your priority? Priority is the country. Concentrate on the country. For God's sake. You have a humongous problem in your country. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. But this is Ron Klain. Ron Klain right here says that while President Joe Biden will likely seek the re-election, the Biden administration is anticipating a bruising general election matchup in former President Donald Trump if he decides to run again. And, you know, the last Trump has yet to acknowledge the results of 2020 election as legitimate, but told the Daily Wire, Donald Trump told the Daily Wire last week that people are going to be very, very happy when I make a certain announcement. This guy, man. He triggers them with that. They're going to be triggered the whole 1 year, 2 years, probably 3 years. They're going to be triggered with that. Oh my God, he's running again. I told you, Pelosi, to impeach him so he will never set a foot on the Capitol. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. These people and their priorities are somewhere else, man. They're somewhere else. The United States of America is going through a situation right now, which they are trying to turn that country into a communist country. They are trying to turn the country into a globalistic country. There's no way to deny it, conspiracy theorists and all you tabloid writers. There's no way to deny it. No way to deny it. The United States is under globalist attacked. And this guy right here, he's so triggered by the fact that possibly Donald Trump will run again. And they cannot keep their mouth out of their name, man. It's just unbelievable. How's everybody doing? God bless everybody that is watching. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Neighbor News. Buy me a coffee. It is pinned on the top or on the bottom of both of the platforms, Facebook and YouTube. If you guys want to contribute to my work, thank you so much. Last news that this was given by our colleague right here in Tijuana, which I sent him a huge hug. Alfredo Alvarez, thank you so much for this blog that you did right here, or your team. It says right here they found, let me just put right here, a trafficking group or trafficking organized group got busted yesterday as they were moving people from Venezuela. This trafficking group was busted, and the victims were victims from Venezuela, from the country of Venezuela. As you guys see right here, the statement: a trafficking group was busted yesterday, May 10th of 2021. This was released on May 10th, 2021, and it was on the border of Mexicali. Mexicali is another municipal city that is close to our city of Tijuana. It's about an hour and 40 minutes away from Tijuana. And 4 Venezuelans and also people that these are the victims. 4 Venezuelans were captured. And it's this in this group, it was better known as Los Salazar. They were captured around at 9 o'clock, and the state road that it connects to the neighborhood Miguel Aleman. This is the photograph of them being captured at the automobile, and these are their names right here. And they were, look at the model of the car, man. They're not driving just your typical average little car. No. What the hell? We're moving people. What the hell, man? If we are going to do this, we're going to do it the fancy way, man. They were captured at a white Suburban 2020. Amazing. Brand new. Right here. In the Suburban, in the interior of the Suburban, this organized little group had 11 victims from Venezuela. And they were intercepted 50 meters before going to the limitations of the border, as they were going to be pushed to enter the United States illegally. As you see right here, the photographs of them being captured, and ultimately 50 people that were going to be pushed to cross to the United States illegally, but they were captured. The borders are controlled. That's what Joe Biden says. For everybody that is watching, that's what Joe Biden just says. The borders are controlled. Joe Biden said so. Raise your hand if you believe that the borders are controlled. I don't see nobody. Unbelievable. Coffee. God bless every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching. Later on this afternoon, I will do another live feed talking about the situation in our central part of our country of Mexico, which the cartel has taken over the lives of the indigenous people in the mountains and ultimately their land. Thank you so much for joining. Follow my partner, Real Anthony Agüero. You can follow him. You can follow him at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and all the platforms. You can follow him on all the platforms. And you also can follow Ben Bearquam, Real America's Voice News. You can download the app at Roku. Also, Will Johnson, and also Miss Sarah Carter from Fox News. Follow her. She has multiple outlets and great news to give you guys. You can follow me as Oscar Blue. You can follow me at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Telegram, and also Rumble. Thank you so much. Buy me a coffee is on the top. People want to contribute. God bless you all. Stay safe. And like we always say, people, peace and love. Because always, your country's first. God bless.
llevan días y varias semanas.
He hasn't given no response, and it's been days and it's been weeks, and he hasn't said anything. Y espero logren su objetivo de la justicia a su país. Luchen por su país. Say the best, basically fight for your country. Están bloqueando el acceso. ¡Viva! Porque la Policía Federal o la autoridad nos está deteniendo el acceso y nos está deteniendo el paso para poder cruzar hacia el Zócalo, señores.